going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. If you don't know who I am, that means you're new. I'm Mark. What's good with y'all? Go check out my other videos. Check them out. Check them out. But first, stay on this one. I think this video is going to be something that people who have been in the firearms, for a little amount of time to, forever, I think it's going to be, a video that everybody can enjoy because it's something that we can all admit to, right? So, you read the title, you saw the thumbnail, we're getting right into it. What is the biggest mistake, if not one of the biggest mistakes, that I notice that a majority of gun owners are making? And it is simple. I'm going to explain what it is. Once I say it, everybody's going to be like, oh, duh, no shit, Sherlock. However, it's something that, we got to go over. A lot of people don't hear this and, they hear it, they don't listen though. You know what I mean? So, and I'm guilty of this too. Let me start this video by saying I am guilty of this too. I am not in any way, shape, or form saying that, oh yeah, well, no. I've done it. I'm this way too sometimes. This is why I have to get on my ass about it, and this is why I have to remind myself and remind y'all too, because you know what I mean? I'm in one of those where I was sitting there and I'm catching myself, right? What is one of the biggest mistakes? It is not training enough. It is not practicing enough with your guns. And why is that such a big deal? And here's the thing. A lot of people like to say, well, a majority of gun owners, they practice with their guns. Not true. Not true. And here's why I say that. A majority of people who are really into their guns do practice more than everybody else. That's about it. Excuse me. A majority of people who own guns only own one or two guns. They don't shoot them. They, put them away. They're either dumb enough to set them in their car and lock it in their car, or they'll put it in their drawer, things like that. You know what I mean? They'll just leave it there to collect dust, get dirty, whatever you want to call it. And that's what'll happen. They'll grab it if they need it. You know what I mean? And that's where they play themselves. And that's a majority of gun owners, guys. So I'm not even sitting here just trying to, pick on us who are, really into our guns and train a lot more than the others do. This is the truth. There's a majority of gun owners don't practice with their guns at all, if any. All right, not something we need to fix with ourselves. I'm the first person to say, as I've said before, you guys heard it in the last video, I'm the first person to say you don't need training to be good at defending yourself. However, it is good to have training. It can only benefit you to have training. It can only have you more prepared for a situation if you have training. Now, that's not to say that you have to. I understand training is expensive. Now, a lot of people don't take into the account of how expensive it is. Let's say your range is charging you anywhere from $15 to $20, per range session, right? Now, some of y'all may go to indoor ranges. Some of y'all may go to outdoor ranges. Some of y'all may even have private property you go shooting at. Who knows? All right. But the average person is going to have to pay a range fee because they don't have private property. So they're going to have to go to a range, whether it's indoor and outdoor. The highest I have seen a range fee be $18, but that was for you're there for the entire day. Like you can go back, you can go get lunch, come back, and you don't have to pay again. Now that's pretty good pricing compared to some other ranges where it's $10 or $15 and you only have an hour. You know what I mean? So you gotta pick which range you're going based off your price if you want to train and train at least in a financially responsible way, I guess you could say. Now ammo is super expensive and it's projected it is only going to get more expensive. I hate to say it. It is something I do not like saying. However, we need to start noticing this pattern and this trend. During election cycles, ammo prices, they go up. When we're talking wartime, ammo prices go up. You know what I mean? There's a lot of situations that are causing ammo prices to skyrocket, and it's something we need to be prepared for, considering if we're not training enough, you know what I mean? It's only going to get worse if we don't have if we don't have these resources available and ready. It's only going to get worse for us as far as financially speaking. Now, let's take 9mm, the most common pistol caliber in the world, all right? Or 9x19, excuse me, for the fucking people who, want to sit there and be like, oh, 380s are 9mm. So 1,000 rounds of 9mm, if they're not charging you out the ass, it will run you anywhere from 230 on the low end to 280 on the high end. That is if you order it in bulk. Now, if you're buying just 1 or 2 boxes of 9mm, you're looking at 14, 15, sometimes even 18 or $19 a box, depending on where you're going. Prices have fluctuated immensely, guys. Now, here's a perfect example. Do you know how many more times I have gone shooting, we'll say in 2023, than we have? And by the way, Happy New Year to y'all. I don't think that's something I've said in my last video, or any of the last videos I've done recently since the new year started. But I've gone shooting so many more times in 2023 than I did in, I don't know, I'd say all of 2021 and half of 2022. And the main reason for that is because of the fact that ammo, it was so expensive. I would go to the range and I would, say, oh yeah, let me just get a box of 9mm, I guess. Because at the time, guys, ammo was insanely expensive. And these motherfuckers charged me $40 for 50 rounds of 9mm FMJ. Yeah, let that sink in, guys. That was 2021. It was insanely expensive to buy ammo, whether you were shooting or not, because the shortages were very real. And some people don't like to, think, oh yeah, well, there's going to be ammo shortages. Let me put it like this for reference. There were some places where you could not buy ammo unless you were buying a gun or buying range time. That's it. You could not buy ammo otherwise, and they would just tell you to leave at that point. Or they would tell you to buy a gun or go shooting. It's up to you. Those are the only things you could do in that situation. And I can't say I blamed them, but I did also blame them. Like, fuck them, bro. I wanted ammo without having to pay extra money. You know what I mean? So ammo is expensive. I know I've kind of gone off on a rant about how expensive ammo is getting. Sorry about that. Ammo is expensive though, y'all. And that is the biggest cost, in my opinion, when it comes to training. And here's why. You can sit here and argue, oh, well, maybe the gun is the biggest cost. Yeah, maybe the gun is the biggest cost. Like, here's an example, right? I already know what my next Glock I'm going to get is. I'm pretty sure I said it on the channel already. It's going to be a Glock 45. Now, that gun is not expensive, compared to a bunch of other guns. It's not. It's not even really expensive as a whole in the gun world. However, all the things I'm getting on it, you know what I mean? The cost of magazines, ammo, the light I'm getting on it, the red dot I'm gonna get on it, it's gonna make the gun cost be close to $1,000, if not more. So I mean, I hear where some people are coming from with, oh, it might be the gun that's the most expensive aspect of it. However, let's be real here. We got ammo that we're trying to compare the cost to. If we're saying even on a nice day you're being charged, I don't know, $10 a box, right? That's for, we'll say 9mm, 50 rounds of 9mm. $10 a box, 1,000 rounds, that's $200. You know what I mean? 1,000 rounds, it sounds like a lot, guys. But I can tell you this right now. A range day with a couple of friends, you'll blow through that in a couple hours. Maybe 3 or 4 at most. Now, that depends on how often you guys are shooting, if you guys are taking breaks in between, whatever. But it's not a lot of ammo like people would like to think. The number makes it seem like it's a lot, but it's really not, considering you got to think about how many rounds the magazines that you were loading up can hold. Some people like stick magazines. You know what I mean? Like, for example, I got 22 round Glock stick mag right here for my Glock 23. Now, as I said, the reason why people like to think, gun can be the most expensive aspect is simply because of the upgrades or however much you spend on the gun. But let's say you're spending $200 to buy 1,000 rounds, each range session. You go to the range once every 2-3 months, even. If you go every 2 months, by a year's end, you'll have spent about the same, if not more, than you have already on your gun. If you go 3 months, you'll be about or under, just a tiny bit, tiny bit under. And that's where, you know what I mean, it does add up after a while. So I'm fully aware that when it comes to training, and as I said, guys, I know it seems like I've gotten off topic, so I'm happy to bring it back. But I know training can be expensive, as I said, guys. The most expensive aspect to it is ammunition. And I'll be the first person to tell you guys that. Ammo costs can vary where you're at, what state you're in, all a bunch of different things, what kind of ammo you're looking for. However, it's a good idea to, you know what I mean, just get some ammo over time. Now, let's say you go every 2 months, right? Maybe, you're getting 1,000 rounds once a week. You stop by the store, spend $30, get 150 rounds. This is if it's $10 a box, guys. As I said, that's very, very low. I'll even be nice. We'll say $15 a box because you're not buying in bulk, right? $45, once a week, got 150 rounds. Do that times 8, you have 1,200 rounds right there. 45 times 8, it's a little under $400. I'm not going to do the exact math. However, you know what I mean? I get it. It can add up over time, but that doesn't mean you have to buy it all at once. You can sit there and, you can get this shit done. Now, another thing, a lot of people don't like to, account for this. And when they hear people say, oh, you need to train, they think, oh, we have to spend money, go hit the range, we have to use ammo. You don't. There is such a thing, guys, as dry fire training. I dry fire, not all the time, not as much as I used to. The only reason why is because I work more hours than I used to. But I still do dry fire whenever I get the chance to, and it comes to mind. Why? Because it gives you a chance to practice drawing. It gives you a chance to practice getting your sights lined up. It gives you a chance to make sure that you're not jerking your gun, no homo, when you're pulling the trigger. It's helpful in various ways. Now, some people may like to argue, oh, yeah, well, dry firing, it's not, a good training method because, you're going to get used to, and then doing that after each shot. No. A lot of people who think that's the case, I don't think they think properly. I don't really think they are. Like that, I've never seen anybody do that because they have dry fired too much. So let's get that out of the way, guys. But training is very, very useful. It's something we're not seeing a lot of people do. We need to start encouraging people more and more to train with their firearms. Now, I'm not going to sit here and, call them out by name or whatever because it's not really my place to. And it's not like, it's anything that. It's actually all good. There's a subscriber on here. I'm also subscribed to his channel. He has some pretty good content. I will shout you out because you've been dope as hell. Dressed to Kill Tay, my dog. He mentioned on one of my videos yesterday that he's been getting his grandma more familiar with guns. He's planning on, helping her see what kind of gun she wants, maybe a 380, whatnot, and that's dope. You know what I mean? He's sitting here explaining, getting her more comfortable with it, which takes practicing and training because, I don't know, what his grandma's situation is. You know what I mean? My grandma in particular, she, I couldn't get her to grab a gun to save her life. You know what I mean? Neither of my grandmas actually. I don't know. I technically have 3 grandmas, y'all. It's a long story. One of them I might be able to, but the rest definitely not. Hell no. So it's cool to hear stuff like that because that just tells me, hey, not only do I train enough that I know what I'm doing, I train enough that I'm competent enough to teach people how to get comfortable with firearms, which it's something that it takes a good bit of training and knowing what to do with guns to be able to do that. So shout out to you, bro. I was very happy to read that. That made my day, actually. So that's a perfect example, though. You know what I mean? He sat there and obviously had to speak with his grandmother about it. Say, look, it's something that you need to start doing. It's a crazy world out here, and it takes dedication. You know what I mean? It takes time. It takes money. It takes energy. There's a lot of things that come with training that you have to realize. But will it ever be a downside that you trained? No. You will never hear somebody say, I have trained too much with my firearm. I'm too efficient with my firearm. I'm too good in a gunfight. You will never, ever hear that. I promise you. I'll put that on everything I care about. You will never, ever hear that. So that's why it's important to train. And as I said, guys, I have also, I am guilty of this sometimes. I sit there and don't train as much as I should, but I still catch myself. You know what I mean? I'm like, look, guys, I'm fucking up. Let's get this shit fixed. And, I get moving. I go back to training again. You know what I mean? And that's what it should be. You know what I mean? It's just something to always stay up to date with, always something to be practicing with, because you want to be as efficient as possible if you ever have to use them. And that's just it. That's how it boils down to it. You want to get as much training in as you can. And if you can't, because of financial reasons, there are ways around it. There are ways to where you can train without having to spend all the money. Now, of course, is live ammo training going to be better than dry fire training, for example? Yeah, 100%. However, it's not saying that, it's still not to say that training isn't training. So get out there and do what you got to do. You know what I mean? Train as much as you can, whether it's dry fire training, whether it's live ammo training, whether you're practicing clearing malfunctions with snap caps. There's a bunch of things you can be doing. Just make sure to do it so that you are as efficient with your firearm as you can be. Now, with that being said, I think that about wraps it up for this video. Y'all make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that bell. When you hit that bell, hit all. And because you agree with me, you don't need training to be good at defending yourself. You don't need training to be good at defending yourself. And I'm pretty sure I've done a video actually where the entire concept was, do you need training to be good at defending yourself? So if you haven't seen that, check out that video. You're going to see that I'm saying some stuff that's pretty similar to this. You don't need it. However, if you're not going to